I watched this video recently on Law and Crime Network channel in which an elementary school teacher allegedly showed up drunk for the first day of school. And why I became so interested in this video is because I'm not only a psychiatrist, I'm an expert in addiction psychiatry and I deal with people struggling with addiction on a daily basis. And there's so much misconception on how to deal with addiction in general public that I thought it will be a good video to share some insights on my personal experience dealing with addiction. I also want to share what you should do and what you shouldn't do if you are dealing with someone struggling with addiction.
I'm sorry, what?
Have you taken any medication today?
I did take some medication this morning for my anxiety.
What did you take this morning?
I think it's called clozapine.
So she said she take anxiety medication and it's clozapine. It's actually clonazepam and it's one of the benzodiazepines. If you're taking that medication, you should absolutely not be drinking because it just compound the effects of drinking. It works on the same GABA receptors. I just don't want to use too much medical terminology, but I think this is important. It works on GABA receptors and it's the same as alcohol works in. So it's good for anxiety, but just like alcohol is good for anxiety too in the short term, but these medication cause dependence and can cause withdrawal as well. So they should not be taken long term. They should be taken on an as needed basis. So seems like the principal and there's some other lady, they brought her in this room inside and there's a police officer there too.
I did take some medication last night. I did take some medication this morning for my anxiety.
So you can see she is changing her story. At first she said she took it last night and then she took it in the morning, and she'll change her story multiple times later on also. And with people suffering with addiction, they do tend to change their stories. If someone has addiction, look at them as someone whose personality is just being hijacked. Their mind and personalities are hijacked by this disorder called addiction. So addiction is very powerful. They will lose their personality, and there are certain characteristics of addiction that they are going to start showing, and lying is one of them. So whenever I'm talking to my patients or my clients who are dealing with addiction, I always ask them one question multiple different ways. A lot of them, when I ask them, are you doing this drug, they say no, I stopped. And when I ask them, when was the last time you did it, usually it's like 2 days ago, or just before coming in. So that's not what stopping means, but in their head that's they have stopped. And also how much they use and how often they use, they keep changing their statements too. So you have to ask the same thing multiple ways to get the correct answer, or at least to get that they are not being truthful. And also one other thing, that if you have a loved one dealing with addiction, you cannot trust their word, because lying and manipulation is a big part of addiction. Sometimes my patients say, oh, so you think I'm lying, so you don't trust me? And I tell them, it's not you, it's the addiction. This is always a very good strategy when you are dealing with someone close to you who is suffering from addiction and they accuse you for not trusting them. Just always tell them that it's not you, it's addiction. And also try to separate them from addiction so they understand that addiction doesn't define them. This is something they are struggling with. As much as you can, try to separate them from the addiction they are dealing with. Let's watch some more.
Whenever you took it last, what time was that?
I'm not really for sure.
Where's it at? In your car? In your classroom?
No, I had one. I took it I put it in my pocket, and then I took it.
So again, we don't know when was the last time she took that medicine. She said last night in the morning, then now she's saying she put it in her pocket. So we don't know if she took it in school, if she took it at home. We just don't know how many times and when was the last time she took it.
I am having a hard time with some depression stuff.
Did you drink something while you were here at school?
Not while I was at school.
This is part of addiction disorder also, that whenever a person dealing with addiction uses their drug of choice, they'll always rationalize and justify it. It's someone died or lose something, so they always come up with a trigger and justify their use. So that's what she's doing. Like she's saying she's very depressed and very overwhelmed, and that's why she has been drinking.
Not here at school, because it seemed that it changed. I mean, your demeanor kind of changed.
Oh, I wouldn't bring it into the school.
Are you gonna blow double zeros?
So again, this will keep changing also. When was the last time she drank? But I really like how the staff and that lady is dealing with the questioning. They are treating her with respect, and that is so important. A lot of time, people who are dealing with addiction, other people belittle them, instill shame in them, try to make them feel guilty. But none of these tactics work. Please stop doing that. You are doing it just for your own gratification. Stop belittling someone who is dealing with addiction, okay? So what she did, I'm not supporting it. Absolutely not. What she did was completely wrong, and she should pay the consequences. She was found drunk at elementary school. So whatever consequences she has to, she need to face those consequences. She need to be accountable for her actions. So that should be done. Like they need to take accountability and they need to take responsibility for their action. But at the same time, they shouldn't be belittled for their choices. They should still be treated with respect and as a human being. Because why we shouldn't belittle them or put shame and guilt on them, it's because they already are doing it on their own. They deal with a lot of shame and guilt and isolation. That is all part of the disorder, and it does not help them. So at the same time, do not ever take the words of someone dealing with addiction. If they say they are not doing drugs or they are not drinking, don't take their words. Look at their actions. Look at how they are presenting. That gives the best evidence how they are presenting. If they are using, they will start showing those things. First of all, you can see them, their eyes. I can always tell from their eyes if they are using. Their speech, they get spacey. That's how they caught this teacher, most probably, because behavior completely changed. So their behavior will change. Also, they will start becoming more sneaky. They will start disappearing. So all of these things are part of addictions. If you have a close loved one dealing with addiction, you just have to be mindful of those things. So make sure you observe those changes in them and don't just take their words.
There's no way you drank last night.
Well, I did drink last night.
Okay, so 0.24, a legal limit is, I believe, 0.08. So 0.24 is really high. It's somewhere around like maybe 10 drinks or more. It depends on how long ago she took also. So for her to have such a high level this early morning shows that most probably she drank either right before coming to school or while at school and not only last night.
Legal limit's 0.08.
Okay.
Do you drink often?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to understand why.
No,
So she said, unfortunately, yes. So clearly she knows what she's doing is wrong and she's seeing a counselor about it. She's trying to get better. She's trying to control it. And I like how officer has been respectful to and clearly said that I'm not doing it as an insult because it's not going to work. If someone is trying to insult a person dealing with addiction, they are doing it just for their own personal gratification that they are getting from putting another person down. Otherwise, they are not accomplishing anything. So if you have a loved one dealing with addiction, it's okay to have them be accountable, have them be responsible and face the consequences of their actions, but it's not okay to insult them, belittle them, make them feel shame or guilt about their actions because they are already feeling all of that from dealing with addiction. You don't have to add to it.
You haven't had anything to drink today.
not since, well,
So
3 a.m.
So again, how her story keeps changing. It was before last night and now it has already moved to 3 a.m.
You want my honest opinion? I think she's probably a functioning alcoholic.
Would she blow that
So you could and be normal and like be
and not drink today?
Well, no, because she's had to have drank sometime today.
So a lot of time when he said she is most probably is a functioning alcoholic, especially with alcoholism, we see that a lot. People who are functioning alcoholics, they lose their job the last. So they end up losing everything and they still maintain their job, and in the end they just end up losing their job. And it's just so sad. Addiction is such a powerful disorder that I've seen some of my patients having everything, great careers, family, everything in life, but they end up losing everything over a course of a year or a couple of years to addiction. Another thing is about addiction is that it's a powerful disorder. It is very complex. It's a combination of biology because it activates pleasure center plus habit plus environment, and then on top of that cravings. So a lot of time people dealing with addiction really are trying to work on taking care of their addiction and overcoming their addiction, but they are unable to do so, and relapse and slip ups are very common. They are part of the process. And I always tell, if you have a year of sobriety or year of recovery and then you slip up for one day or even 2 or 3 days, you cannot take that 1 year away. You still have that 1 year, and your chances for recovery in future are higher than someone who has no time of recovery.
Would you rather call your husband to come pick you up, or would you rather call your husband to come get you from jail?
So here you can see how she is terrified of calling her husband, what kind of relationship they have. I don't know what is going on in her house that she wouldn't call her husband.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to waste your time or anything like that. I'm sorry.
Actually, this video is so sad, and the reason I picked this video is because I see patients like this. I see people like this every day in my practice, and they are struggling and they are trying hard. They succeed too. They are succeeding. They are failing, they are trying, but I just want to share that there's hope out there, there's help out there are resources out there. First step is you deciding that you want to stop doing drugs or alcohol, which is a drug as well, and then they take necessary steps to get there. But it is for anyone, if you have a loved one who is dealing with addiction, just understand addiction is kind of a daily battle. They are battling this addiction on a daily basis, and it's not easy. One of the very, very effective treatment for alcoholism is Alcohol Anonymous and 12 Steps program. And I tell my patients, even if you are not religious, still you can do it, and you can apply your own faith and complete all these steps. And it's not an easy journey, it's not an easy road, but of course once you are in recovery, it's all worth it. So majority of comments are very supportive. This was incredibly sad to watch. This is a rock bottom moment for someone struggling with alcohol and depression, and that is very true. So I can go on and on. It's just a topic I'm very passionate about, and I've been helping people with addiction, so I of course have a soft side for them, but I do understand the type of danger they put other people in society under, which is very wrong. But this is addiction. The person who is dealing with addiction is really struggling. Just understand that. I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions about addiction that I can answer. Thanks for watching my videos. I'll see you next time.